Alright, welcome back to Kitchen Cutlery. Today I got another TwoSun for you. This is a TS607 Nakiri. I actually really enjoyed cutting with this knife, and I'll show you kind of a couple of reasons why. I don't have the steel written down here, but as most of them, it's... Actually, I do need to double check that. I don't remember if this is 10Cr15 or if this is 12Cr. Might make sense one way or the other for it, but yeah, okay. As you can see, I will certainly have that information a little bit more solidified down in the description here. But yeah, as you can see, it's a Damascus clad. They didn't do anything super crazy with it, just kind of a straight along cladding for it. You can also see that this is more of a traditional Japanese handle. And yeah, actually up against a whole lot of light, you can see this is actually ebony, where it has the pin in there. There you go, you can actually see the wood grain a little bit. And then we got whatever the heck this other wood is, it also looks super nice. I want to say cherry wood, but that's probably just the stain kind of tricking me into that. So, there you go. As with almost all Japanese knives, here, I'll get the box and whatnot out of the way here. As with all Japanese knives, they're not, fully forged with the giant bolster there. They also basically have a, what I would probably consider either a rat tail tang or a stick tang, where it does go down fairly decently into the handle, but it's just held in there with epoxy outside of this pen here. And the pen itself, it's certainly feelable, a little bit more on the show side here than it is elsewise. It's just noticeable. It's not like it's catching or snagging or doing anything crazy like that, but you can certainly notice that it's there. Next up, using these Nakiris, I do know that a lot of Japanese people do use a little bit more of this motion. Here, actually, pull up my cutting board so I don't have to hurt Totoro or any of his other forest friends. And yeah, this does have a little bit of a rock to it, a little tiny bit of belly there, so it's not just straight flat like an absolute traditional Nakiri is. But what really makes this thing a joy to cut with is the fact that the stock thickness on this isn't very much at all. But on both sides, right here, we have a thinning of the heel. So the core steel on this thing is incredibly thin. And that does an amazing job for doing a lot of slicing tasks through veggies and whatnot. Just does a fantastic job. This is not a knife that I would hand to someone visiting your house and they're not familiar with it, because of the fact that it is very thin behind the edge, and these are quite hard on the Rockwell scale. They could probably be pretty easy to damage, like a lot of traditional Japanese knives are. So you probably want to keep that in mind a little bit. But this, I think, is kind of the epitome of slicey for a kitchen knife there, where it really has that nice tall, broad blade on there. Not quite as tall as a chef's knife, but still fairly tall. But still comes down to such an acute point by the apex there that yeah, it does a fantastic job. It chewed through basically anything that I could put out there for it. And something that not all of them can really say is that using it in a pinch grip, which isn't super traditional for Japanese knives, is still pretty darn comfortable. Obviously you have plenty of knuckle clearance here, which some Nakiris are a little bit shorter, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. But I really didn't have any problems with any of that sort of stuff with all of my kitchen tasks. So yeah, I mean, as last week, I don't really have a huge amount other to say about this guy, other than I absolutely love it. You can see a little bit of the blade peeking out there from the handle. I don't know, some might say that's a fit and finish thing. I don't necessarily think so, because it's not like the blade has any moving on you, and you're not really going to get in there. But I suppose maybe if you're worried about some foodborne illnesses or something like that, might be, just an extra scrub that you might have to do there. That's kind of a drawback of a traditional Japanese knife, that if they don't have that, a lot of times they will develop it. There you go. Also, the Damascus cladding on it, obviously it's not at the same Rockwell hardness, so it is a little easy to scratch. As you can see, I got a few of them up here. Well, at least I can see them, but they don't really seem to show up on the camera too much. Oh well. But, you're used to that with almost all of your kitchen knives anyway. All the German stuff, Henkel's, Wusthof, Messermeister, they're all fairly soft, so they'll do that. And heck, even some of the other TwoSun guys, they're I don't know, higher end ones in 14C28N. Well, that steel does a pretty good job of getting micro scratches in it too. So there you go. If you're looking for an absolute shiny mirror polished thing forever, this probably isn't the knife for you. But finding kitchen knives that are is probably going to be very difficult. And if you do, probably difficult to maintain as well. So there you go. There's some drawbacks. But yeah, it's, as Nakiri's usually are, it's handle heavy. Or not handle heavy, I'm sorry. The other one, blade heavy. And that's, by design, obviously. For one, it doesn't have a whole lot of mass coming out the back here. But that helps gravity help you with your chopping and slicing. So, there you go. All right, that's about all I really got to say about this guy. So far, this has been my favorite Nakiri that I've tested out of theirs. I have seen over this last week, they just posted their first one that still hasn't won an auction. They do have a Nakiri now in their 14C28N, which I really do want to get a hold of. I'm probably not going to get this first one because it seems to, as with most TwoSun things, go a little bit high. But it's also super nice that the model number on it is 666. So, that's awesome, as far as I'm concerned, at least. So, yeah, that's basically all I got to say about this guy. This is the TwoSun TS607 Nakiri. And it's either 10Cr14MoV or 12Cr whatever the heck. Like I said, I'll have that down in the description because I forgot to look that up real quick. But, all right, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. Subscribe.